Welcome to round 2. We get to keep our opening hand and we're on the play, which is pretty good here. Need some land, but we do get to start out with Experiment 1, and if we do draw a 2-drop, we have plenty in the deck. We can evolve it immediately. Otherwise, it looks like Spire Tracer coming down next. Ideally, they don't have a 1-drop here. But yeah, pretty much all of our draws are going to be good, except our most expensive things. Do we trade here? Legion Loyalist. I don't think so, but that thing could get annoying later. No, I'm not going to trade. Best case here is we draw something like Frilled Oculus. Yeah, the perfect, perfect draw. And that blocks the Loyalist. And now Experiment 1 can block it too, so that's a good draw. But now we need to draw land, which also would have been a good draw there. And if we keep drawing land, that's good too. We get to go 3-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop. Okay, so there's some kind of Gruul deck with evasive stuff, but it won't be enough to stop us immediately. Wow, lots of 1-drops. None of them are too impressive except for the fact that Battalion, they'll all have First Strike and Trample. They will still be small. They'll still be little small creatures. So I actually kind of want to attack with Experiment 1 here. If they want to trade it for 2 things, I'm fine with that. The only reason I'm not attacking with Frilled Oculus is it would just be 1 damage, and it potentially blocks 3 damage if they're not willing to attack. But I will play Spire Tracer here, even though we can't use our pump on Frilled Oculus. It might not be necessary. And it kind of gets things going. Like, we've done a lot more damage than they have already, and even if they come in with 3 and we take it all, that's not that bad for us. Like, if they do attack out here, I would be... It might mean that we can't really block with Frilled Oculus. And that's okay, I'm fine with that, because Frilled Oculus is attacking back for 3. Okay, so they'll just come in with the evasive guy. And that's pretty telling on what they might have. Wow, 6 damage. Uh-huh. I think a better play there would have been for them to attack with everything. And then if we block with Frilled Oculus, Blood Rush onto it, because all their creatures would have Trample. So I'm not sure. I mean, they're not going to be back here to block, so it doesn't make too much sense to me. In any case, hopefully they don't have something ridiculous like that next turn. And I'll just come out here and attack with everybody. I could leave Experiment 1 back. That's close. No, I'm going to come in with everything. And then just pump this guy up. Yeah, pretty much you should do that after blocks, but I'm happy enough with them chumping anyway. We didn't have anything else to do. So I should have waited, but it's unlikely they block with anything anyway. And right now it looks like we're winning this race, even if they play a red creature, that they're coming in for 4, and we're still coming in for 6. I just don't want to see too many more Zertos ones blood rushed onto their creature. So we're doing a lot on 2 mana. 17 lands here, that means half of our deck is land at this point. Oh no, our poor Oculus. I guess we got too greedy with old Oculus. If we didn't get that extra 2 damage in, we would have had the thing up there. Yeah, I'll leave Experiment 1 back here. We're not winning that race anymore necessarily, and they might have an answer to it, but pretty ridiculous we're not getting our lands. Oh man, so I'm sure they have something here. I'm still going to attempt to block the Loyalist to shut that down. I mean, they must have something, or else that attack doesn't make sense. Burst of Strength is pretty good there. It's just we can't afford to... Oh, they've got more? Scorchwalker? Yeah, we can't afford to sit back. But let's get Croconaur out there, and if they're out of tricks, we could be alive here. 2 cards. Just about any pump spell kills us here, but we'll put Croconaur on Legion Loyalist and Spire Tracer on the Denizen. Or better yet, do something like this. We still take 2 damage this way. We could block 1 more by putting the Croconaur on the Loyalist, but this also kills one of the attackers. Okay, so we're dead. Which we would be dead anyway, because they can always kill the Croconaur. Alright, that shouldn't have been that bad, but it was, because we couldn't find a 3rd land, starting with 2 in hand. Anything else? No, I like the deck how it was, or how it is. It's just a matter of curving out a little better. We even drew the card we needed, the Frilled Oculus, but after that it was kind of not so good. I'll keep this. I don't want to mulligan on the play, and really, a late Experiment 1 could be okay after an Ivy Lane Denizen. And Frilled Oculus does match up well against our opponent's creatures. Mountain. Alright. No little haste Raging Goblin on turn 1. That's a good sign for us. And no green yet either. Well, there's the green, so they might be playing 2 things this turn. Or if they have multiple Burning Tree Emissaries, maybe 3 things? Okay. Alright, that is something. So, well, it's just a matter of Simic Flux Mage or Experiment 1, and we can't block anything, so we're kind of taking 5 damage here. The reason we can't block the Bomber Core is Simic Flux Mage will have a damage on it if they do it that way. But yeah, I'll play out Simic Flux Mage here. Even though we're tight on green mana, this is a little better since we can play Ivy Lane Denizen and then Experiment 1 after that, possibly. As like a 1 mana, 1/1 counter giver. Oh, I'm thinking this was 2 things at once. The thing that makes a creature not able to block, but it wasn't that. Yeah, I'm just about to lose all my creatures here, but I can't really afford to take all the hits without any resistance. They could just add +5/+1 on the Bomber Core, and we lose everything. Oh, no, we get it. So, thank goodness. Spell Rupture won't counter the types of things we might need it to, like Blood Rush. So here I like just Ivy Lane Denizen. And that will give Simic Flux Mage a counter for evolving. And we're back on defense here. Now we have a couple blocks for the Burning Tree emissaries, and I think it's just time to let 4 damage come through from the infantry. I can't imagine a world where they don't attack. Unless they're sitting on some green creatures in hand, and that's all they have. Okay, well if this is their only attack, I'm just going to put the Oculus in front of it. Well, I could also put double, like, Ivy Lane Denizen and Simic Flux Mage, but I'm just going to put the Oculus out there. The attack doesn't make sense if they... yeah, it didn't really make sense otherwise. And I don't want to expose too much. Well, Stolen Identity, that's going to get pretty good, and we'll also be able to keep up some triggers from random things here. So what to do? Yeah, I'll start by doing this. We'll put a counter on Frilled Oculus. And then if we have to, we can move a counter from Simic Flux Mage to something else. So we've done it. We've kind of stabilized here. We're just one evasive creature shy of some good stuff. We might want to do this anyway in case we draw anything. We could Stolen Identity the Ivy Lane Denizen, and then evolve a bunch of things. In which case, yeah, I'll put a counter on the Denizen. Okay, there we are with the mana we need. And then what? Put Cypher onto the Frilled Oculus. It's the hardest creature to block. So we'll copy Ivy Lane Denizen. That'll evolve Simic Flux Mage and Experiment 1, and put another counter. So worst case here is they have a removal spell. Yeah, we'll Cypher onto Frilled Oculus. Put a counter on, I guess, Frilled Oculus. Puts it out of range of some spells. And then evolve all this other stuff. That's Simic for you. This is why Simic is so powerful later in the game. And now any green creature we draw is going to be multiple 1/1 counters. It might also have been good to put a counter on Experiment 1 to get its regeneration ability available. Remove 2 counters from it. And that's pretty much how that works. Ooh, Adaptive Snapjaw. So not only does this evolve 2 things, it also puts 2 counters on. So I wonder here, 4, 5, 6. They've got 6 power in blockers. Yeah, I'm going to attack with the Frilled Oculus before anything. They can't Blood Rush on defense, and we can counter most things with a Spell Rupture. So their best bet here is to chump. But if they don't chump, oh man. If they don't chump, we're in pretty good shape because we just get to copy an Ivy Lane Denizen again. So once they realize what's happening here, or maybe they knew, but yeah, this is pretty good. We'll copy the big one because it's harder to interact with early. Always yield to these guys. And then I don't really feel the need to play Adaptive Snapjaw. I would rather keep up Spell Rupture, and right now it's a counterspell unless they pay 6, because we can pump this and then cast it. And they don't even have 6. So I'd much rather play Snapjaw when we have 2 mana open. And we're definitely winning on board, because they can't draw their green. It's kind of like us in Game 1, where we couldn't draw our 3rd land. It's like, you just can't do what you have in your hand if you don't have the resources. Okay. Well, that worked out pretty well. I still don't like any of our sideboard cards for what's going on here. Hindervines, well, that might be a thing. So this is a fog effect. They don't have 1/1 counters on a lot. So what would we take out for it? Keymaster Rogue is pretty weak. If we don't have any other creatures on the field, then you can't even play this. So yeah, I don't love that. Let's put in Hindervines. We have plenty of creatures, so that's not an issue. Hindervines is the kind of thing that if we set up good blocks and they blood rush something, we can just undo the blood rush and possibly, and they're down to 6 this game. So this is more how our deck is supposed to curve out. 1, 2, 3. Evolve our experiment 1 to a 3/3 on turn 3. And they're down to 5, so that's a shame. That's a shame. Well, I mean, we haven't won it yet, but our hand does look very strong. Oh gosh. And now we have options. So we'll probably go Shamble Shark into Croconura, because that'll get the most evolve triggers possible, and Frilled Oculus is just kind of something we can play later, which will evolve Shamble Shark a second time. Loyalist, well there he is, no blocks for us. And they're not attacking, that's interesting. I wonder what the green mana is. It could be a trick, it could be the +1/+1 untap and pump, but they would have attacked if they had that. Yeah, we'll just trick them now. And they only have 3 cards, so they don't want to trade 1 for 1 because then we'll just have the cards left over. So that's kind of smart, but it's just not going to work out no matter how they do it, sort of. Wow, we'll have at this rate, we'll have a 4/4 experiment 1 on turn 4. Yeah, I'm not even going to block there. It's like, I'd rather just take this 1 damage, even though trading 1 for 1 is fine here. Sure. So now they've just paid 3 to do 5 damage to us, and it's just not going to be good enough. We'll attack back for 6. And it could be something like 12 next turn. I'm trying to count it out here. We'll have... Well, we could evolve all of our things with Scab Clan Charger. And that's 10. Or we could evolve just one little thing. I don't mind blocking here. So, okay, they have a 2/2. We saved ourselves some damage. And now we know what we're dealing with. So how to play this? Do we just evolve everything? Then we don't have mana left over. Or we could evolve one thing and have Scab Clan Charger on reserve. No, let's just evolve everything. No reason to mess around too much here. Alright, they're coming in. They've got 1 card in hand. Show us what it is. Oh no! I should have regenerated it. It was the 1 card that punishes me for F6ing there. Oh well, we'll give him that. That was a good play. That was a well-timed arrow, but yeah, that's the match. A shame they had to mulligan to 5, but that's magic sometimes. And I'll see you in the next match.